Carl, check this out. See, Kings players Marvin Bagley and hairstyles, both former Duke players, showing off. Now, this music I like. The dance moves. I like this.
Oh, yeah. It's nice.
I'm really disappointed we didn't go on camera about 5 seconds ago. Steve was mimicking these dance moves.
Oh,
why was I not talking? I was watching Steve trying to drop it low. I mean, what is happening right now? But now you're just going to be staring right here like you wasn't just doing that.
America? He's a weird guy. Seeing stuff. Oh, you just close your mouth, Draymond.
My mouth is agape because I am aghast at what I just saw from my partner.
Come on, show everyone. Show America. Show America.
Hey, man.
All right, bro, time for some stories to start your morning.
Hey, bro.
I used that all day
We got
yesterday.
like 50,000 bros out there.
I overused it, let's put it that way. Hey, who knew preseason basketball could be so entertaining? Jimmy Butler, that's who. Quite an interesting day for the All-Star. Butler reportedly took yesterday's practice as an opportunity to target his coach, Tom Thibodeau, and teammates Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, at one point screaming at his general manager, "You bleeping need me. You can't win without me." Nick, what'd you make of Butler's actions?
I really hope Jen is telling the truth that she used bra a lot yesterday when she gave a speech to middle-aged Jewish women in Philadelphia. You know, on stage. Listen here, bra. They're like, holy babe.
Wasn't quite demographic. I was waiting for it.
All right. To answer
Just so you know, just teach me, and then I take it out for a spin every day.
I happen to love what he did because the only way it worked was if he could, at practice, take 4 third-stringers and run the court against Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, and the other starters. He was able to execute that. Now, the interview part with Rachel Nichols, all premeditated. He had told her, hop on a plane, I got something to say. I don't think this helped him get out of town because it reminded Tom Thibodeau how much the team does need him.
Yeah, Jen and I, we hated it. Because the reason why, if you bring someone to work like that, I can't perform at my best. No one wants that type of stress at work. He's out there challenging, and you know, he's challenging the people that Glenn Taylor, the owner, has signed with. Oh, Wiggins, don't like him. He's the first-round pick.
$150 million.
He's got a max contract. You know something? I love him. Karl Anthony Towns, they decided, oh, we're giving him a max contract. Jimmy Butler, not good. Jenna and I did not like this situation. And Nick, if you come to the office like this tomorrow, we're going to beat you with a bag of pennies.
Told him what happened.
Yeah.
Bag of
pennies. And if you meet the
Jenna
Jenna at the 4 a.m. And we have another conversation like that, I'm going to...
I love this man.
Right.
The NFL now, Pats cornerback Stephon Gilmore finally gave...
Jenna by yourself.
Okay, now that's the worst punishment you could have. Gilmore finally gave Jalen Ramsey a little dose of his own medicine. Ramsey had a lot to say before the season. Remember, yesterday, Gilmore said of Ramsey, you know, a lot of guys that talk are mostly zone guys. They have a lot of energy to do that. What do you think, CC? Is there any truth to this?
There are a lot of truth to. There are some zone guys. It was a guy named Josh Norman. That's what got him that big contract in Washington, out of Carolina as a free agent, talking an awful lot. Great zone cover guy, not a travel one-on-one. Stephon Gilmore, though, he's a guy that's very, very quiet. You know, so in this instance, he's not right about Jalen. Jalen is a shutdown corner. He is one of the handful of guys in the league, like Stephon Gilmore, who can do this. So, no, he's not right about Jalen, but he's right about some of the corners.
Listen, Jalen is one of 2 corners in the league that I feel fully confident in any scheme, in any system, would be an A-plus corner. That's Jalen Ramsey and Patrick Peterson.
Okay.
I do not think this scheme matters. Like, there's other really good corners in their scheme. Doesn't matter for those 2 guys. But I don't mind anybody clapping back at Jalen. Can't do all the chirping he does and not have guys chirp back at you.
All right, let's talk about Baker Mayfield. The Browns' fiery and fun-to-watch quarterback has led the Browns to 2 wins in their first 5 games. That is more wins than they've had the last 2 seasons combined. He was asked whether or not the recent winning proves the Browns aren't bad. Here's what he had to say.
I've known the Browns weren't bad since the second I stepped foot in this franchise. We had a special team from the get-go. Whoever we're playing has nothing to do with this team. You know, we believe in this team we have. Management's put together a great group of guys, and so it's on us from now to learn and move forward. We're a 1 week at a time mindset. You know, we moved on from the first 4 games of the season. Now we're into the second quarter, and we're looking at a chance to go 2-0. You know, if you win each quarter, you're looking at a a great possibility going to the playoffs. And we just got to take care of business one game at a time. You know, obviously the end goal, yes, is to win the division and make the playoffs, but you don't do that unless you take it 1 week at a time.
Cece, how much does Baker Mayfield's confidence, how much does that help the Browns? I mean, they wanted a leader, and they have a leader who, A, is performing on the field and seemingly off the field as well.
I believe their overall confidence and the type of leadership skills, and I believe that we have several good leaders, guys that were drafted this year. We always talk about the 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round this year. I believe 3 of the 5 are going to be phenomenal. I believe they're good leaders, but I believe Baker's leadership skill is a little bit different than Josh Rosen and a little bit different than Sam Darnold. I believe he's a little more in your face. I believe he's a little more hands-on, and he's a guy that's been an overachiever. You know, he wasn't the top recruit. You know, he didn't go initially to UCLA and USC like the other 2 quarterbacks did. Man, he was a journeyman. He bounced around. People didn't give up on him. Him and his dad almost got into a fist fight over walking on at Texas Tech. He's like, man, no, I don't want to be a walk-on. I'll take a scholarship somewhere else. But his dad convinced him. And then ultimately, after starting there, he ultimately walked on at Oklahoma. So I just believe how he's gotten there is one of the things that he'll be able to utilize in trying to lead these Browns. But beating good teams is what the Browns need just as much as they need Baker's leadership, because this is a bunch of guys, they've lost a lot of games. And you can lose your confidence in the NFL in a hurry. I like Baker the way he goes about it day to day. He's hands-on, and I believe he's a better match than Sam Darnold would have been and Josh Rosen would have been, even though I believe
in Cleveland.
Yes, I believe these guys will be successful in Arizona and here in New York, respectively.
Hey, and beating good teams is obviously the key, and that's why that win last week over Baltimore was so important.
Yes.
That was another game that we could have been saying, man, they missed an extra point. They missed a field goal. It goes to overtime. But they actually won that game. Now, they kept that kicker, so I don't know if they're going to win many more games that comes down to a field goal, but they won that game. I just don't think it's very good. But, like, since Baker's taken over, let's think about what they've done when it comes to winning. A double-digit comeback against the Jets. A double-digit lead against Oakland that even though they squandered it, I would make the argument, if not for a couple awful officiating breaks, they win that game.
And I believe there's some intel in getting a big lead. There's a lot of intel in how do you come back. But also, man, we started the game. Man, we must be pretty good to get that type of lead in the NFL game on the road.
I just like the talent on the Cleveland Browns, defensively most notably. I like the talent defensively. I like the talent at running back, and I like Baker Mayfield. Baker, now, we thought their wide receiver room was going to be great. Right now it appears to be Jarvis Landry and some question marks. You mentioned earlier when we were talking about the weather changing. You know what worries me when the weather changes is David Njoku, a guy who's had catch issues, hands issues in good weather when the weather gets bad, because he's going to have to be a dynamic threat for them. I'm not acting like they're an elite team. But I said at the beginning of the year, I thought 5 wins would be a disappointment for the Browns this year rather than a surprising season. I think this team should be around 500 all season long, and they'll be fighting for the playoffs into December.
All right, let's get back to some basketball now. The new era in Laker ball began last night. Lonzo Ball made his preseason debut alongside LeBron, taking on the Warriors. First shot for Lonzo. It's got to go in to count. Lonzo teamed up with LeBron for his first points of the night there. Finished 7 points, 2 assists. LeBron slightly better, 15, 10, 5 in 18 minutes to play. Lakers go on to win. Here is the Kang on Lonzo.
His ability to see the floor, his ability to push the ball, and his athleticism, as what you're seeing, on the lob catch for myself, and then just defensively, some very, very quick hands. So it's great to have him back on the floor.
When you play with LeBron, you got to make sure you keep playing because he's easy to watch. Much stuff as he does. He had a monster first half. He's the best player in the world. That's what he does. But we got to keep focusing, keep doing our job.
All right, Cece, I know it was only preseason, but what was your takeaway from this game, from the Lakers' win last night?
Yeah, we have to be very patient. That's what I looked at. Lonzo hadn't played basketball, NBA basketball, since March, so I knew he'd be very, very excited. You got an atmosphere there in Vegas going against the world champs. So those types of things. Steph Curry, like I said, came out on fire, like trying to prove a point. But these young Lakers, to me, it's the first time seeing them collectively. So to me, Kuzma looked comfortable. I like how they went to small ball, put Kuzma at the 5, LeBron at the 4. Ingram looked comfortable playing with LeBron, and I just believe Lonzo, he'll get more comfortable because their basketball traits, they're very, very similar. Outside of scoring the basketballs, being unselfish, being long, and LeBron brought up some good points that, man, his size as a point guard, man, you can play some good defense because you can take up a lot of the court when you have Lonzo at the point. So I like how his comments were measured afterwards. I like how Lonzo said, you know, something, man, you watching LeBron, you can be mesmerized watching the greatest player, how we have to learn how to play with him, that we can't be fans of the game. We have to be part of the solution as far as the Lakers getting better. So I like what I saw. I'm going to be patient, because Lonzo's coming off a very good rookie season. The only thing he didn't do well was shoot the basketball. Shooting at 39%, didn't shoot the three-pointer. We know, you can see last night in his spot-up catch and shoot, we saw him knock down one of those. So we'll see. It's a progress. Changing your jump shot is a progress. So I'm going to have patience in watching him and watch how he develops with the Kang.
Listen, so much of the commentary on the Lakers this year has been about the offensive side of the ball. How fast are they going to play? Do they have enough shooting? Is Brandon Ingram a good enough scoring number 2 option? How's Lonzo Ball? Do they have too many ball-dominant guys? I've watched LeBron James teams for 15 years, and every year since his post-rookie season, they find a way to be one of the best offenses in basketball. Why? Because LeBron James is an offense unto himself. The offensive end is not going to determine if the Lakers win 43 games versus 53 games. What's going to determine it is the defensive end. It's one of the reasons I wasn't as critical of their offseason as a lot of people were, because what they were trying to add was switchable players, athletic players, and youth. And so to go along with their youth, and some toughness, absolutely. They already had the youth. They added some toughness. Thank you, C. That is the side of the ball that we are going to have to watch closely. The most important stat, sorry, we got a gnat in the studio.
Nick drawn fly.
The most important stat for the Lakers this year is going to be defensive rating. Where are they in the NBA as far as defensive rating? Where they rank? Because they're off by the end of the year. I would bet every dollar I have that over the final 30 games of the season, the Lakers are going to be a top 5 offense. You know why? Because for the last decade, every LeBron James team, post-All-Star break, is at least a top 5 offense because they got him. So let's see what they are defensively, because last year, the Cavs weren't good enough defensively. The year before, they weren't good enough defensively. The year before that, they were barely good enough defensively, and they needed an all-time offense. That's what people should be watching for the Lakers.
Based on what you saw last night, I think a lot of fans want to know, are we going to see a rivalry this season between the Lakers and the Warriors? Are we going to see a competitive rivalry, 2 teams that can match with, at least for the most part, match wits with each other?
I think the Lakers can surprise the Warriors. It's just a matter of the young players. Can they get used to playing that level for a long period of time? Can Lonzo slow down Steph from the point? Because when you look at teams and how they match up and everything, there's a lot of different things we can look at. But from a Lakers versus the Warriors, can they match their productivity at the point guard? And can Lonzo be a problem for Steph defensively? Because they hide Steph defensively. I believe that LeBron and KD negate themselves. How good is the Lakers' small ball lineup? And the one thing Nick points out about the defense is very, very important, because sometimes we forget that in analyzing who Golden State is. One of the best, 1 or 2 offenses in the league. We know that every year. But also a top 5 defense every year since they've gotten this collection of players. So the Lakers, how good they can be defensively, depends on that, if this can be a rivalry.
Rivalry between the Warriors and LeBron. At the moment, we'll see if it can become a rivalry between the teams eventually.
All right, got to take a break. Coming up, can Patrick Mahomes take down the Patriots at Foxborough? Next on First Things First.
Why the quarterback is often the best-looking guy on a team? Think about it.